Welcome to the Podcast. We haven't decided the opportunity, but anyway, I'm Colby.
And I sued a hospital for $1 billion for giving me psychosis and witnessing the birth of a child. You can call me Fee.
Listen, no one should ever witness the birth of a child.
Oh, it's disgusting. It's the worst thing on earth.
To be fair, especially during a C-section, I wasn't allowed to peek on the other side of the curtain, which I would have loved to see whenever my kid was born. But I did get to see, I was looking at my cute baby, who was getting cleaned up, and I looked over, and the doctor. So apparently, after you have the C-section, the baby is out, they have to get the placenta out as well. And the way that they do that is the doctor, it's called a rolling pin maneuver, basically puts their whole arm across the person's tummy and then rolls it forward across to like you're trying to get the last bit of toothpaste out of the tube. And then it just squelches out. So that's cool. And luckily, you can't feel hardly anything because of the epidural that's going on. But damn, I could see how you would get psychosis by being like, "Blah! What happened?"
He mounts her like an MMA fighter. Just hammer blows her stomach.
Honestly, it is like giving giving the people's elbow,
The doctor is taking off his glove, right? Like The Rock taking off his elbow pad.
Mm-hmm. All the nurses are like, oh shit, he's gonna do it.
They're in that room, with the stadium, in the hospital for students.
He runs from one end of the room to the other, and then he comes back and does the fucking Vince McMahon walk and fucking
drops the fucking people's elbow, and the placenta flies and hits the wall.
There's a big target on the wall, and he doesn't quite get the center, and he's so pissed about it. No! I've been training for weeks!
God! Oh, there'll never be another baby to come in here. At least not until tomorrow.
They're gonna arrest me for this. And then he turns... No one's noticed it, but his phone is currently live streaming. He turns sorry, chat. I really tried for y'all this time, but, we're going to be back at it tomorrow.
It's like a subathon. Another 10 more subs, and we'll get another pregnant lady in here. Just line of pregnant ladies out the door, just in intense labor, and he's like, can't let you in.
Yeah. Why can't I see the doctor? Well, if you and 4 friends can go and subscribe to his Twitch channel, then you'll get in much quicker. But
it's not doable right now,
Yeah. We tried to do Pokemon Would You Smash, and it's just it's not really hitting the way we thought it would.
Yeah, he is trying to make partner, and it would mean a great deal with him. And they're just like, yeah, no, I've seen a C-section because I was a C-section, so I saw it from the inside.
Yeah, how can you give me a review of it? Was it the 10 out of 10? Would you recommend somebody else watch it, or?
Oh, 10 out of 10 recommend. It's like being in a big Coach purse and then coming out. A Coach purse full of strawberry preserves.
Damn. Okay, that's way grosser than I thought it was. I heard the words and was like, don't think about it too much, and then I started thinking about it and I went, oh, it's getting worse. It's getting worse.
It's just progressive. Yeah, no, you're just like, oh, and then you think okay, well, Coach purse is one of the big ones, right? And then you're like, oh, and then strawberry preserves kind of looks like birth goo,
like birth, just like birth,
like birth. And so yeah, no, it do be gross, but strawberry preserves or jam is my favorite of the jams.
I like that this started off with like, yeah, here's this really gross analogy. Anyway, now I'm thinking about jelly, and man, I really like it.
Well, like, you're so basic, and you're just gonna say I like grape. I just fucking classic grape ape.
I like cherry.
You would like cherry.
Yeah, good.
You
Good
look
stuff.
like a man who likes cherry.
Cherry, peach. Peach is good.
Oh, I love a good peach too. Actually, is it peach or pear? Man, you could preserve anything.
That is true, including people.
Yeah,
Just like pickle.
no, no, we're not talking about pickle. God, this is a no pickle podcast.
It's just a one time.
I'm gonna be Chris Chen, and I'm gonna put my foot down. I don't like pickles.
Hey, you know what? That's fair. And I don't know. I respect it. That's fine.
Yeah, see, but there's one problem with it is that's a lie because I do like pickles.
Wink.
Like, do we need a like wink? Like, I think we've said it enough times.
Well, so it depends. It depends, Fee. Do you like the food as well?
What, pickle?
Yeah.
On certain things, like I get pickles on my Subway sandwich.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, then you do need the wink, because otherwise, how are we going to know what you're talking about?
I don't like them on my burgers, though, which is like a classic pickle situation.
Do you like dick more than you like pickles? This is the question that's on everybody's mind. I get emailed about this every week.
You just came at, like, you dropped the facade and you just came out and said it. I applaud you. Just
You know what? That took guts.
do I like penis more than pickles?
Pickle.
Pickle. I you know what? I'm gonna say yes.
All right.
Because like I don't like pickles on a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Pickles is sometimes food. Penis isn't all the time food for you, I guess. That's fine.
Of course. Well, I mean, not all the time. Like, you know, families around, you don't wanna be like, hey, don't mind me, I'm just gonna go to my room with my friend here.
Yeah,
You know?
don't worry about it. I know what you're thinking. Stop thinking.
Yeah, I know what you want to think, but I promise you, it's not that.
In fact, if I can just ask you just one thing real quick, just one thing. Just like pretend like I'm not here and like I've never been here, actually.
I've never been here. Not ever.
Who am I?
Never.
Who are you?
What is anything? What is life? It's just, I don't know, man. But yeah, no, I think it's just one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those things. Sorry, I was watching a video about Fred Durst.
Oh, Fred. Oh, Frederick.
You know about the Limp Bizkit, like, not clause, but thing he did, right?
No, maybe. I don't know what you're talking about.
Back in the 2000s, if anyone wanted to use his music in a video game, they had to put him in the game.
Oh my god, no fucking way.
Yeah, they wanted to use it in a Fight Club game. He's in that game. They wanted to use his music in the WWE, like Here Comes the Pain game. He's an unlockable character.
Oh my god.
You gotta fucking, what's a Limp Bizkit song?
Rolling?
Yeah, you just gotta keep rolling.
You gotta roll with the punches.
You gotta roll with the punches. Rolling.
The thing is, like, people like Fred Durst really kind of impress me a lot because for me, I've talked about this before, but like when I make a project, whenever I'm like, oh, I want to go do this thing, I finish the thing. And then I'm like, well, I hope that makes me rich, or I hope that's successful, and I don't think about anything else. I'm like, I've created the product. Hopefully the product will sell. I don't know how that'll happen. It is on sale. I told 20 people about it. Hope that's enough. And
that sounds like enough.
It's You know what? It's not actually. I wrote a book, Fee. I wrote a whole book, and I put it out, and I told 20 people about it. I've made maybe $30 on that book.
Hey, it's a lot of money.
That's more than zero it's infinitely more than zero, but it's a lot less than like the $10 million I was hoping I would make. You know,
that's like 2 number ones at Whataburger.
Yeah, it is. And you know what? I've enjoyed those. I'm sure I've eaten that money up long ago. I'm sure I already ate the money before I even started working on it.
It's a very niche book about coding, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
And it's already out of what's it called? Like, you can't use that book and like learn because there's
out of
like
date.
new updates. Yeah, it's
sure
out of
is.
date.
Sure is.
You told me when you made it.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool, but why would I buy it?
Why would I buy it?
Like, I'm not trying to be mean
This is
because
stupid.
like I support you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like,
yeah, but
I
what
would
you
buy
do with
it. Like, I would literally buy it and just be like, it's there. I have it. It's on my shelf.
Yeah.
I read the back and the table of contents.
Hell yeah. And you said,
like,
yep, don't need that.
Like, it's not something I'd read and like be able to do anything with, because when you made it, I really didn't have a computer.
Yeah.
So like, I would just be like, I'm gonna keep this knowledge locked up here, right? You know?
Yeah. I'll wait for the day that I can use this knowledge. Yeah. What I'm saying is that, like, you know, sometimes, like, some people, like me, you make the product, you're like, boy, I hope I get rich on this, and that's the whole plan. But there are some people out there like Fred Durst that are like, okay, I'm doing all of these endeavors, right? Like I'm gonna get out there. Oh, great, Limp Bizkit got popular. Well, now I need people to want Fred Durst, because if they want Fred Durst, no matter what I do, I will make a ton of money. So here's how we do that. If you want to use Limp Bizkit music, you got to put me in the game. That way people are like, wow, they must really like Fred Durst. He's cool. You know what? I'll read Fred Durst's programming book.
It's, you know, like, I don't know who Fred Durst knows. Like, his first album was like pretty solid. It was a good album. It's just like, he's not like Eminem, right? Like, right. Eminem's the white guy that raps. Mm-hmm. But like, Fred Durst is like rock and roll rap. It's just, yeah. I don't like. And of course, Eminem, everyone still knows Eminem, and he's still like a good musician. It's just like, man, like, what did Limp Bizkit do wrong? But like, how did he get started? Like, who heard him and like, that's the new fucking shit?
That's it. He's the one. That's the thing, is like, so many things in media, especially with like traditional media, it's all about like one guy. Like, this is what I, from as an outsider, feel like it's all about one guy getting passionate enough about a thing and making enough connections to where they can be like, oh, you know what? I want to give this guy a shot. And they can convince someone else, and that person can convince another person. And so everybody is like, you know what? It's a good idea if we allow them to make a whole album, and then we'll put it out, because everybody will want it. Like, it does feel like it's just one dude, like, you know, Rick, and Rick accidentally went to a Limp Bizkit show and went, this is the sound. This is the sound of the early 2000s. This is like somewhere between grunge and pop. And so it's sad, but also happy, and also nothing, and extremely vapid. And it means nothing to anyone. And there's no like deep connection that someone can form with this music. But it's very playable. It's like potato chips. Yeah, that'll be great.
See, but like, the thing is, like, it came. I want to say it came out at the right time, right?
Yeah.
In the 2000s, at the turn of the century, because like grunge and like that type of like, when I think of Limp Bizkit, I think of like the 360 and like PS2 era video games. like he feels like he like lives in a saturated realm, right? Like
Yes.
Limp Bizkit music. It
Hmm.
feels like that. And then like we all grew out of it, but we still kind of fondly remember him. We have like one or two songs that we like from him.
Yeah, and I do wonder. I do
He
wonder
did,
what he doing now.
he
Um,
made a movie. He made a movie, and it's
what?
awful.
Why?
I don't know. He's friends with the director, and his director like gave him some tips, and he made a movie. I think he kickstarted it. You could check.
Director gave him some tips.
And then
God.
like Limp Bizkit's in it as the main character. He also what's it called? Uh I don't know, like jerks himself off, right? He's in a car with like a kid, and he's like, "You want to listen to music?" And his own song comes up. He's like, "You like Limp Bizkit? You like Limp Bizkit?" That's
Wow.
all. That's all I know, because like I saw like a trailer.
This is no. What? No.
It's one of those things.
Why did they let? Okay, I'm looking at a picture of Fred Durst right now, and I need you to know he got a beard, and he looks identical to how he looked when he was young, except that his beard is gray. So he's still wearing a hat. He's still making like his mouth looks like he's always saying the word ooh. That's just what he looks like.
He has a punchable face.
Oh boy, does he. Ain't no one in the world more punchable than Fred Durst, except maybe Donald Trump Jr. Maybe.
I just say Donald Trump. He has a very punchable face.
He also does.
A lot of people in politics do.
That is also true. I feel like there's nobody. God, there's only a few politicians where I'm like, yeah, actually, I kind of like you. I think you're probably a good person.
Yeah.
Everyone else, it's like you must want power for some reason. I don't know why, but you're here for something, and I don't like you. I don't get a good vibe from you.
Sometimes you can just get like that vibe off someone, right?
Oh yeah,
Like you meet someone and like you talk to him for I don't know, like 30 minutes. You're like, I don't think I like this person. Right?
Yeah, fun fact actually. So at a previous job, we interviewed someone. I was like, it was just me and him in a room. And he like no, it's not where you're thinking.
Okay.
It was just me and him in a room, and I gave him like my problem that I did. Like it's an hour-long interview where like we're writing a solution to the problem that I gave him together. And I was like, yeah, he did okay enough. He was like kind of entertaining, kind of funny. Yeah, this is fine. We can hire him.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did, and he got onto my team. And boy, that like you're like I know that we rip on Travis for always like doing Ace Ventura. The thing is, when you first become friends with Travis, you're like, this is great. This guy's really funny, but then you realize that it's all the same stuff, and there's not like an engine of funny. It's like a bag full of 8 or 9 jokes that he pulls one out of every once in a while and then puts it back. That way he can pick it out later. And that's exactly what was the problem with this guy is he like in every meeting was just like smarmy, but he hadn't earned it, and he didn't have the skills to be as cocky and also kind of self-deprecating as he was. And I was like, God, I fucking hate this guy. And there was one time in which we were at like an event together, and his partner was there, my partner was there, and he was introducing me to his partner. He was like, "Oh, this is Colby. He's on my team." And I don't know if he likes me actually. And I was like, "No, I do not like you." And he was like, "Ha ha." I was like, "Okay."
Just awkward silence.
This kidder, he's very funny. And I'm just like, yeah, uh-huh.
Yep. Oh no, yeah, that's me, big kidder. Just serious
Ah!
face. Just
Oh, jokey McJokesters.
that's what they call me. Fucking Colb the comedian. God. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I've already talked about them too, my coworkers,
Mm-hmm.
and I've given you enough reason why I don't like talking to them for any extended period of time. Uh, but fucking fun fact. Uh, dance off husband is leaving the job. He got another job
Mm.
and he's quitting. So good.
Nice. Is it? I mean, is he going somewhere that's like pays him more
It's
or what?
Yeah, but I don't think for a minute that it's hard. It's like harder work. He's like going to an oil rig outside of Louisiana or
Oh
something.
man, God, that's the thing about like especially oil rig jobs is not even it's not even necessarily like out in the Gulf because like those where you have to like, oh yeah, you're on a ship, you like hours out into the ocean, now you're on an oil rig for weeks and now you get to go and you get like a month off or whatever, but you're on there for so fucking long.
Yeah.
But the pay is like $50 an hour, so like it's always crazy.
His isn't that much. I think he said he'll be getting somewhere like in the 20s, right?
No,
Like
fuck it for okay. For
he's gonna.
$25 an hour, I will not go out in the ocean.
I like. I don't. He said like. I don't know if I like mentioned this, but he's like a serial liar.
Yeah, of course.
So maybe he's not going into the ocean, but he's going to be one of the people helping get the rig ready. So like
Okay.
maybe that's what that is. It's just he's already left the site and company before to go work with like people like line handlers for ships or like helpers on like a refinery, and then came back a few weeks later. Apparently, like he just did not like it, and I'm like, just you didn't you don't like to work. That's why this job is easy. You don't do shit.
Yeah.
I'm like I can't picture you out in an oil field, just like making money, being away from like your family for an extended period of time. Like I don't see you doing that, dude. I stayed with you for a month in Louisiana, and like you were annoying just to me,
Mm-hmm.
and I could see you being annoying to everyone there. Once they can't catch on that you're a fucking a liar, right? Because
Yeah.
like I don't know if you know this, but like people in the oil field do not like to fuck around.
Yeah. That's the thing is like especially in a job in which you don't have to do anything, if you have one guy that's just like yeah, I'm kind of thinking that we should just spend the next 45 minutes talking about Charo. Then people like, especially if you're at a job where like things need to get done, you're like, wow, no, I don't want to do that. Just shut up.
Yeah, like and the thing about like oil field work is like they don't give a shit out there. They'll fucking kick your ass, and no, everyone will be like, we don't know what happened to him.
No, who knows?
If
Like
everyone hates,
that's the thing is like all of those oil field jobs are they're so lucrative because it fucking sucks to be out there. Like it's dangerous work, it's really hard work, and it's for long hours. And
oh yeah, I couldn't imagine like being out like at a 12-hour job, swinging like a 25-pound or even more sledgehammer,
mhm,
like on an oil like on one of like those oil pipes, just on the pipe. They're
mhm.
just swinging a goddamn sledgehammer. Fuck that, dude.
Yeah, they're
I
like,
don't
"Oh,
care
hold
how
on,
much.
I'm gonna use the chain. I gotta wrap it around the chain, and I'm gonna pull out this, and we're gonna put the drill back in." You're like, "What the? Damn, that looks like A, extremely stressful, B, really dangerous, and C, like a lot of hard work."
Yeah, no shit. Like a lot of the times they cut corners, like because OSHA's not there all the time,
Mm-hmm.
so like it's like really dangerous, but they're just cutting like small corners.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that like, man, I don't care how much you pay me, I am not gonna be out there for 12 hours busting my ass.
Yeah.
Like, fuck you, dude. Like for real.
That's so wild, honestly. That like because I remember being young and hearing about those jobs and hearing like, oh yeah, you get paid, you get paid like $30 an hour to go out there. And I was like, God, that is a lot. Like and especially if they're like, oh yeah, well, I mean, you're working 60 hours a week for a month and then you get like a month off. And I'm like, man, but that month off sounds really nice.
Yeah, with the fucking couple $1,000 you get from that other
Yeah,
month,
you get a fucking fat stack from your work time, and then wow, I'm on vacation now, and I could that's crazy. Like that sounds pretty good actually. But then if you just think about it for more than like, I don't know, 20 minutes,
Yeah.
then you really, because the first 20 minutes are like, wow, okay, let me calculate. Okay, so if I'm doing 60 hours a week and I'm doing it's $30 an hour, that's $1,800 a week. That's crazy. And you're like, yeah, this is obviously like I'm gonna get paid $6,000 a month, and then I get a month off to do whatever I want to. I'm gonna own like 12 houses. This is gonna be great. And you just don't understand that like the work is gonna be extremely hard, that it's really dangerous, that like, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
it's so easy to get lost in like
In the monetary gain, right?
yes, because you're
So,
like,
like,
wow, I'm just gonna make so much money, and you don't even think about the reality of the job.
yeah, or you know someone and they're just like, yeah, dude, I got a shit ton of money, but like they're busting their ass to like I don't know, like near like fainting levels in blistering heat and any weather, because like they don't care if it's raining, they don't care if it's cold. You're gonna be out there and you're gonna be like picking up heavy machinery and getting just filthy, right?
Yeah, dude.
Like it's like I think people like get trench foot out there
Yeah,
from like just being fucking in the mud with their boots for
just
hours.
wet all the time. Yeah,
Yeah, no. Just no. Like that's like I commend people who do blue collar jobs like that, but like sometimes like online you get those people like if you don't look dirty like this then you ain't a man. Just like fine, I'm not. Like,
yeah. Okay, cool. That's fine with me.
yeah, I'm like I'm fine sitting in my little box watching anime all day.
Yeah,
Fucking
just
no way, dude.
it is, and it's so tempting to think like, oh yeah, no, I could stick it out. Like if you're in an oil rig on like just out in the middle of the country, that's one thing, right? Like you get on shift, you decide 48 hours in, you're like, actually, I'm dying. I need to leave. No one's going to stop you. Like you could just get in your car and drive away. If you're in the middle of the ocean on an oil rig and you're like, actually, I hate this job, that's it. You're on the oil rig for a month, dude.
Yeah. It's just like you're like, I quit, and then you just go to like your room and you're like, I'm not coming out.
I'm gonna stay here. And they're like, we're not gonna feed you. And you're like, I didn't plan this far ahead.
I don't know. The good thing, like, I'm glad there are people who do it. I am not one of them people.
Yeah.
I will never be one of them people.
No.
I'm not a I worked blue collar jobs. Like, I don't know if security is a blue collar job. It is like an easy job. I am happy with doing that.
God.
Like the hardest job I ever worked was being a prison guard.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those things, like you said, you like, because they were like advertising it on TV. They're like real shortage on prison guards.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking at the money. They were like, you get $2,000 sign up bonus, and it's tax free. All you got to do is stay a whole year, and then you get like $2,000 like every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And you get 4 days off every 4 days. And I'm like, oh fuck yeah! So I went and got a prison guard job, and I worked there for 3 years, and I hate that job.
Yeah.
It's not worth it. It just isn't worth it. Man, like, yeah, you get 4 days on and 4 days off.
Mm-hmm.
It's just sometimes because there's a shortage, they will mandate you to come and work, and you can't say no.
Yeah.
You say no, you get a write up, and you have to be there for a whole year before you can like start saying no and being like, write me up, because then you have to pay that tax back on the money. So you have to play ball for a year.
Mm. I hate that that's like that's a thing because I specifically remember there were a number of times in which like you and me and Mike would want to hang out and you'd be like, nah, I gotta work, and we'd be like, call in, just call in,
Yeah.
dude. And a good portion of the time you'd be like, I can't come, I'm throwing up, I have
Yeah.
big poops, I can't come. um But if you're like, if you're at a job where you're like, you can't say no, and you actually do have big poops, or fucking 2020, you've got COVID, you're like, yeah, I've got COVID. They're like, I didn't ask if you had COVID. I told you to come in. Get your ass in here.
Yeah. I remember uh this one time they called me when I was there, and this is back when like I had one of my first girlfriend, and she liked to drink. We liked to party on my days off,
Mm-hmm.
and I was drinking a little bit, and we are just at home, and they call me, and they're like, "Hey, man, we need you to come in. Like, can you do it?" And I'm like, "I'm not even in town. Like, we weren't in Beeville, where it is." And I'm like, and I'm drinking, so like, I really can't. And they're like, you can just come in. We won't give you a hard job. You just need to fill in. I'm like, I'm not gonna drive while like I'm drinking.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. I'm like, no. And they're just kind of like, oh, they're just like, fine. Hung up. And I was like, fuck, dude. Like, that's how bad the prison system is. Like, they need guards bad because like no one wants to work there.
Yeah.
It's a shitty environment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the inmates make it worse. Like, McConnell there in Beeville is probably like, I think it's in like the top 20 worst prisons in Texas,
Mm-hmm.
or like even top 10, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it's just, yeah, they don't really care for you there. They care more about the inmates, which I mean isn't like bad, like, but like they care more about their well-being than the guards' well-being, and there's like 2 guards per like 60 inmates sometimes.
Yeah,
And
that's a bad mix. And especially like I imagine being a prison guard, there's probably a few inmates that are like, yeah, I don't know, you're doing your job, it's fine, whatever.
oh yeah,
But
yeah.
like that's like the best that you can get. You're not going to get people that are like, oh, thank you so much for like keeping us safe and making sure that we're all following the rules. Thank you so much, man. It's always like the best reaction is like neutral to mildly positive. And then when things swing bad, they swing real fucking bad. So
Yeah.
yeah, obviously they have to pay more people to do those jobs, and you've got to ask like, oh, so like I have hardly any training. I like, I do, my small amount of training, and then like I get, 4 days on, 4 days off, and the pay is pretty good. All right, so like, what's the catch? And the catch is like, oh, well, this job fucking sucks.
Yeah, like, and it'd be like one thing, but like you can't take your like phone in, you can't take any electronics in, and like you get searched up at the front when you come in. Like, you can't have anything electronic other than like a watch on you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go in, and God, like, time is so slow, especially like when you're just like walking like constantly. Like, I was in good shape. I was in good shape when I worked there,
Mm-hmm.
because like there's like 3 flights of stairs that you have to go and walk through every day. And I would have to do that, just little me with all these tall fucking criminals around me,
Mm-hmm.
and just being like, y'all need to fucking line up.
Yeah.
And
Hey,
I
get
had
your
to like
ass over here.
I had to fucking be hard, and I don't like being hard, but like it's you have to put on the
Yeah.
fucking facade up until like just okay, so like the first year was like shitty. My second year it was great because we had a new supervisor, and I think she realized like I was a very small guy and I was unintimidating,
Mm-hmm.
that she put me in what's called like closed custody and low risk offenders,
Mm.
um in one of the dangerous buildings, but only with them segregated from like the other people,
Mm-hmm.
because they are like sexual abuse victims, or like they're also sexual abuse being like in the prison system, not outside. Like they're in the prison and they're like gay,
Mm-hmm.
and like a lot of gay and old people in this section. And
Sure.
for a whole year, she would just that's where I'd be. And those fucking guys, they loved me, and I loved them, even though they smelled rancid. Like,
You're
because
like, man,
they
you
had
guys are so great. You do smell like old meat, but it's fine.
it's because they had cats. Cats would come in through the windows and they kept them as pets.
Hell
And
yeah.
like they would like leave, like cats would like shit and pee inside there. They would clean it up, but then like they had like tuna everywhere. Oh, it was gross.
Jesus.
And like for a whole year, that's where I would be. But then like my that supervisor got fired because she ended up being in a relationship with a criminal, an inmate. I'm sorry,
Mm-hmm.
with an inmate, and it came out, and then we went to another supervisor, and he just put me wherever, and that was kind of like the last year. I was like, I'm done with this. I'm really done with this.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I had to work harder, and I hated it. I
Yeah,
hated it.
especially if you're like, that's the worst is whenever you find a job that you really like and then it changes out from under you and you're like, oh shit.
Like, it wouldn't be too bad because like where I was, like it was real low risk. It was fine. I'm not saying that like I was like really scared of everything. It's just that when the new guy came, he put me somewhere else, and
Mm-hmm.
you have to wear like a stab proof like vest, and it's heavy, and you got to be like put in the back, and I had to wear that. And like the thing you don't know about the prison is a lot of their equipment is just broken,
Mm-hmm.
or it's big and doesn't fit you, and I'm like a little guy.
Mm-hmm.
So like I had this big things that didn't fit me, and they're like, "Well, you could just buy your own. And I can give you a link to it, and it's like $100 or $200 to get like a custom one." I'm like, "Go fuck yourself! I'm not gonna spend $200 on this job." I'm like, "No."
God.
I'm like, "Y'all supposed to give us that stuff."
I can't
It's
I can't imagine because like the public schools are already so deeply underfunded. I imagine that like prisons are also like, yeah, hey, we bought you we bought you this like plastic riot gear 12 years ago. It's fine still, right?
dude, that's not even a joke. That's just the truth. Like I'm not out here like vying for the prison because like I don't work there anymore. Fuck the prison system, like for real, for real. I just I at the time when I was there, I was like, this is fucking baloney. I was like, this fucking malarkey you want me to do
What a
and
bunch of
show up.
hogwash.
And I had to pull out all my old timey words. I was so upset.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even get to have long hair. I had to cut my hair all the time. And my hair grows fast.
Yeah,
So I had to get my hair cut like every other week.
man.
It's annoying. And the inmates cut your hair.
Really?
Yeah, they were really good at it too.
Man.
They
Okay.
had a
That's kind of a feature, honestly.
they had a barber shop in the front, and
Ooh. Okay.
there's inmates that were allowed to. That was their job. Inmates have jobs in the prison, and I don't know if it goes towards their time or it gives them lets them something. So like, you have inmates that are like barbers. You have inmates cutting yards, driving
Mhm.
trucks. You have like inmates cooking. You have inmates just fixing pipes into like Dude, there was this guy that was just always pissed off. He's like, "What's broken now?" He was like the handyman, and like he'd get escorted everywhere, and he's like, "Oh, I fucking hate this place. Just have everything's broken all the time."
And you're like,
Just
yeah.
I'm like, I'm sorry, dude.
Anyway,
Like,
go fix the pipes.
he's like, he was a really nice guy. Like, I don't know what he did, but like, he would just fix shit, and he was always pissed off about it. But then like. He would like, oh, I'm off. I'm going home. And like, I'm done with today. Like, but I guess like it's better to have a job in prison because like at least your day goes by, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because like, man, it would be boring otherwise.
God, that's. I keep thinking about like, oh yeah, the money is so good, but also, oh
Yeah, and the money and every day you worked overtime was just an extra $200.
oh no.
Yeah, you working overtime, $200 for the day. No, like they don't count your hours. You get $200.
God. Okay, sure. You know what? Fine. I just and they're like, hey, listen. This guy, he got stabbed at work yesterday. You do need to come in today. You're like, what? What?
Dude, let's not like I'm. You keep saying stuff that's not jokes. It's just that's how it be. I remember being there when inmates would set their beds on fire. I remember like getting in riot gear, and they give us gas masks because we had to throw tear gas in, but the gas masks were all fucked up. So we're blinded fighting the inmates who at this point are like really drunk, are like high on something. So like they're like fucking fighting through it, and I'm just like, I can't see.
Ow!
God, I don't never work for a prison, or at least not one that's in Texas.
Yeah, that not anybody's dream job. I don't think that anybody is like in high school. They're like filling out the like career guidance forms, and they're like, you know what? I really want to be a fucking prison guard. That sounds sick, actually.
Hey, like there's some people they watch fucking what's that TV show where it just shows the security guard, the prison guards like fighting the inmates or like world's like
oh god, yeah,
scariest prisons, and like it's just the like them getting into trouble and the prison guards just fucking fighting all the time. Like I could see like really tall like aggro jocks or something getting like real into it.
yeah, being like hell yeah, get in
Dude,
here.
There were
I wish you'd
like
set
that.
your bed on fire today.
Dude, there were people like that. They were like, "Ooh, I can't wait to get into work. I'm ready to fight." I'm like, "Are you fucking crazy?"
Stop!
I'm like, "No!"
Why are you making things worse?
Dude, they would antagonize people. I'm like, "Why did you choose today?"
I'm just trying to chill, man.
Dude, like when you get into any altercation, you have to like write a goddamn essay, and you have to do it like during work, or you have to like stay after work, like fucking homework, and do it. It's the worst.
Man, you know what's fun about that actually? It's the same with fake cops, like cops that are on GTA RP servers. If you get into like an altercation or like a bank robbery or like whatever, like you shoot someone, you book someone or whatever, you have to do paperwork. And so the amount of times that like I was watching someone who like, because there's basically 3 shifts. There's like US, or I guess there's Europe, which is like US day, like early morning up until like noon. And then there's US night, which is like noonish until like midnight or so. And then there's Australia, which is midnight until whatever, like 8 a.m. or something, right?
Yeah.
And the time zones sort of overlap, but there's like effectively 3 shifts. The amount of times that I saw like a US morning shift person on the night shift, and they're like, the person who I'm watching is like, oh, hey, sheriff, I didn't know you were in. I'm just here doing my paperwork. And I'm like, Dude, you stream as a fake cop and you're like, nah, man, I had a big day today. I got to go do my paperwork now. And you're like doing it in the server. Like, come on, dude.
Oh no, like they better be like I know a lot of people watch our fucking GTA RP, but like you better be getting paid a lot of money because fuck, dude, doing paperwork in a game, just go fucking get a job.
Yeah.
At that point, no shit.
God, I can't, because I thought like, oh yeah, that would be kind of cool to be like a GTA cop or whatever. Like that sounds kind of fun. You know, chasing criminals, do it like getting clues and whatever, you know, like interacting with people. That sounds kind of fun. But then you hear about things like that where it's like, oh yeah, there was these guys like tricked me into whatever, like driving into a tunnel and then they shot me and then now I have to write a report about it, or vice versa. Like these people robbed the bank and they got really pissed off because I ran them off the road and I have to justify why I did it now. Come on.
Oh, fuck that, dude. I'd be like, can't we just not do the paperwork and just pretend we did? Be like, hey, boss, I just turned in the paperwork. I'll see you tomorrow.
But hey, how about this? Instead of doing paperwork, I'll just send you the Twitch clips. How about that?
No shit, right? Like, oh no, doing actual work in games. That's like mega RP. That's too RP for me.
Too much RP, and especially because it's not like, it's not only is it not glamorous RP, but it's not even RP that like, if you wanted to stream, no one would watch it. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm sitting down to like write a Word document inside of GTA. It's just give me like 2 hours and then I don't know, we'll go on duty and I don't know, do a speeding ticket or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah, like who's really tuning in to be like, oh, my favorite party's writing up his paperwork for his use of force. Fucking
God.
Fuck that. No. Let's God, we've talked for 50 minutes about this. Let's change subjects.
Okay, do it. I dare you. You won't.
So, Kolb.
Yeah.
Do you like anime?
Oh man, there's so few joys in my life right now, and that anime is one of them.
Do you like Jujutsu Kaisen?
I do. Before we continue talking about what's going on here, this we're not going to be able to talk about this probably without actually talking about the thing. So, spoilers for Jujutsu Kaisen, the manga.
Yeah.
Get ready.
All right. I don't know that much about it. I just know what's gonna happen, like what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
But you probably know it more in depth. But like, you want me just to come out and say it?
Yeah. So here's
who's your favorite character, first of all?
In Jujutsu Kaisen?
Yeah.
Probably Itadori Yuji. He's pretty good. He's kind of just like a real dumb, a man who's dumb of ass.
That's the wrong answer. It's Gojo.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, it's Gojo.
Yeah. See? So there's a thing in the manga that's happening that has everyone fucking tilted.
Yeah.
Apparently, and get ready for this again. Spoilers. I can only say it enough times.
Mm-hmm.
He dies in the manga.
Yeah, it just in this issue or this chapter that's like about to come out. It's not even out yet, but as is tradition with most manga that comes out, usually somebody who's in the print industry or whatever will scan in the manga and then upload it, so that like fan translations end up coming out before like actual translations do, and they also come out before the official release. So like it's actually a pretty wild phenomenon that's happening, but I don't know, whatever. But yeah, they looked at the latest issue of JJK, and turns out that that the madman fucking did it. The mangaka has committed the ultimate jujutsu sin.
It's just, well, like, honestly, like, it's smart, right? Because Gojo's like the strongest character.
Mm-hmm.
He resolves a lot of the issues, don't he?
Yeah, I mean, he definitely, I would
He's
say,
not.
like he's always kind of been like this safety net. Like, okay, if things go wrong, Gojo's just going to show up and take care of it, and it's fine.
Yeah,
Not a big deal.
he's not like Kakashi. He's pretty hands on. It's just, I guess they're like, well, we need to build our characters more.
Mm-hmm.
So Gojo's got to die.
I don't even think it was that. Like, apparently, like I've read a couple of things where apparently the mangaka was like, it's wild that people like this character so much, and I kind of resent it. Like, I have a bunch of other characters that I like more than him, but you all like him, and I don't like that.
Well, I mean, he did put a picture of a wiener in a guy's pocket once. It's so funny.
Hell yeah, which is fair.
Like,
who hasn't done that before?
We've all done it. You shouldn't have made him like A, Kakashi like.
Mm-hmm.
B, you shouldn't have made him like good looking,
mm-hmm.
and like you shouldn't have made him like funny, like, and a good character like that. I'm gonna say that's like that was his own fault. It's just
you did too good. You wrote too well.
Yeah, that's like people liking Vegeta so much they made him a character.
Yeah, which is fair.
Yeah,
but there's so much stuff that goes into this too, because like this gets revealed, and obviously like anime and manga Twitter is going ballistic right now. Anime and manga everywhere is going ballistic right now.
Yeah. So like I heard about this through an anime drama channel that I watch.
That's very specific.
Yeah, well, I like to watch anime drama because I get bored at work, and like I'll just look for anime stuff, and I found a couple of channels, and I'm like, okay. So like every once in a while I'll hear like stuff on the grapevine.
Mm-hmm.
But like, man, they're sending that guy death threats.
Yeah, which like obviously think, like, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that. I think one guy even was talking to like Taliban about like doing something.
Hell yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, gonna get the Taliban in on this. They gotta know. You done fucking goofed. Yeah, so like there's a lot of issues here, right? So and the major one being Gojo's whole thing is like, well, you can't touch him. Like that's his whole quirk. You can't touch him. So how he get touched? And apparently, so the person who does it, is, again, we're just going full bore in here. The person who does it is Sukuna. So Sukuna's taken over Yuji's body and has murdered Gojo. By
that'd be the one to do it, because like Sukuna's like supposed to be the all powerful one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they probably got him like a number of fingers at this point.
Mm-hmm. And
so, that makes sense.
Yeah, and they basically, he's tried to hurt Gojo before, and Gojo's like, you can't do it. You can't even get close to me. This has been so confusing that people had to like do an analogy. And so I will use this analogy because this makes sense to me. The way in which he does it, number one, he cuts his ass in half. Which is very cool. Very Star Wars Episode 1. But the way that it's explained is like, imagine that all of the characters in Jujutsu Kaisen are on one page of a book, and Gojo is on another page of the book, and you can't cross between pages. You just can't do it. And so Sukuna's like, fuck, I can't hit him, right? And Sukuna, Sukuna's like really good at copying people's curse abilities, and it turns out that there is one character that figures out how to attack the other page. He doesn't go there, but his attack lands on the other page. And Sukuna sees that and goes, all right, you're fucked now, buddy. And then he executes it, and bam, Gojo is like, oh shit, I do be in half though right now.
Do you think this will affect the manga sales going forward? Like, it for me, if I was into Jujutsu Kaisen, I've
Mm-hmm.
only seen the first season. I haven't seen season 2 yet, or the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if I was reading the manga, I would be like, "Oh, well, this is just it. I'm done with this show." Like, do you think that'll affect sales or like views?
Mm. I don't think so. And here's why. Here's my controversial take on this.
Okay.
I think Gojo's going to be fine.
That's what a lot of people are saying. I'm hearing like he got cut in half, but like you don't see the aftermath. It's almost like one chapter you see Luffy going gear fifth after dying, and then like he comes back.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe like like he's pulling like the wool over your eyes, like the next chapter, or maybe a few chapters later, like he's just like, haha, I was faking it all along, right?
Well, the other thing that I'm thinking is like, you don't know this because you haven't watched the second season of Jujutsu Kaisen, but there is a time in which like he dies basically. He fucking dies.
Yeah.
And then he comes back and he's like, actually, this is the first time I was ever able to use reverse curse energy to like heal myself and block the damage, and I almost died, but I didn't die, and I'm very euphoric about how cool I am. It would not surprise me if there was a way for like, they're like, oh yeah, right before the attack hit, he actually, I don't know, deactivated Limitless, but only for part of his body, and so he's like a doppelganger was cut in half, like some shit like that.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me if they're like, yeah, if they want to have their cake and eat it too, they want to kill the extremely attractive, very overpowered, sort of like everybody loves this guy of the series, but also not at the same time.
Dude, so like here's the thing. And he maybe he's done this, maybe he has like a death in the family situation going on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like when Robin was killed, he let the fans decide who if he lived or not, and everyone's like, fucking kill that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so what if he put it out and like depending on people's like reactions, he has like the next chapter like planned out. Like he's like, okay, if it's like a really bad reaction, he comes back to life, right? And he's like, but if everyone's like surprised, but like, oh, this is nuanced and this is great, like he puts the chapter that yeah, Gojo just died.
The thing is, that wouldn't surprise me a lot. But
It's
would.
It's a week. It's a weekly shonen, right?
Yeah, I think so. Boy, would it piss me off though.
Well, he
Fucking
just never.
Oda has done that so many times that like you never in One Piece you just never believe anybody's dead. You just can't, right? Like
Well, yeah.
even in the most recent arc, like one of the villains, Orochi, has died like 6 times. Motherfucker just can't die.
Look,
And every time that he dies, you're just like, that's probably not it, right? Like, for sure
I'm thinking
not.
this recent time it was the last time, right?
You were correct. The most recent time is the time that it actually worked. But this was before, like,
Oh
he,
yeah,
he was stabbed, and then before that, he was on fire, and then before that,
No.
it was, and before that, and before that, and before that, it's like terrible.
Well, no, I think there was only 2. Like, not even like he was stabbed once, and then Kaido cut his head off once,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's it. But
And then he was set on fire.
When?
Just recently.
Well, no, like he was set on fire, but he wasn't like he was in the middle of getting burned alive, but he also had the what's it called, the under like the sea stone spike in him,
Mm-hmm.
and when the like the fire like loosened it up and it like got loose, he turned into like the Hydra, and
Yeah,
he was
exactly.
still on, but he was still on fire, and I think he was all like he was gonna die anyway. But like he got up and was just gonna take Kira what's her name? He was gonna just take her with him.
Yeah,
Right?
that's the thing is like he gets set on fire, and you're like, wow, what a poetic ending to him. And then it's like, oh no, this thing happened. Uh-oh. It's like Oda just continuously is like, yeah, this would be a great ending for this character. Hey, I've got 12 endings that I want for this character. I'm gonna do them all. It's like, God, stop being embarrassing.
I think I liked the way it ended because like it gave like the Pompadour guy kind of a redemption arc, right? Because he like also lived while knowing who she was, but while also being a double agent, right? So it kind of was like a nice redemption.
Yeah, which it's great. But guess what? There's other ways that you could have done that without being like, I'm going to kill this character 3 times.
I wish they didn't kill Ashura.
Yeah, that would be nice. There's a lot of things where like Oda is like really skittish about killing like people, except for whatever reason in Wano he ends up killing
a lot.
I think 2 of the vassals.
Yeah, he killed Ashura and then killed Kiku's brother.
Yeah, for no reason, and they're off-screen deaths too.
No, didn't Kiku's brother die fighting CP0?
I don't know that he actually died on screen though.
I think he was left for like dead. He was given a fatal wound and then left in the fire. That's where they were fighting in a room.
Yeah, and that like in One Piece that means literally nothing all the time.
I've already expressed one of my least favorite scenes in One Piece ever, and that was during Alabasta with the castle guard who met the bomb head, or like got the bomb and took it up into the air. And it was like a very heartwarming scene where he's like, basically sacrificing himself to save his people. And you're like, oh, that's so good, right? Like you feel all these things.
And you're like, and then, damn, like, that's fucking crazy. Salute. It's the meme where the dude is like tears and he's saluting the screen, and then he's like, ah! It's just like that.
Yeah, it was just like it was just like that for real. But also, right when like the pirates are leaving, he's in a fucking bed, bandaged up, and they're just like, "Are you gonna, let people know that you made it?" He's like, "No, I'm gonna, take a break for a while." And I'm like, "Oh, fuck yourself!" Oh, I was angry. I was so mad. Like, I get that some characters just don't die from like some. Like, Luffy fights with his hands, and even though, like, in the earlier episodes, like, Buggy, of course, he didn't kill him, because, like, he just punched him. Like, he didn't kill Don Krieg. He just, like, punched him unconscious. Like, Arlong, I could believe that he fucking killed Arlong, but like I understand that he didn't. Fishmen are like very resilient, so yeah.
And
sense.
To be fair, Luffy didn't actually kill him with anything. Luffy like kicked him and a building at the same time, and a building fell on him. That's like incidental almost.
Yeah, I know, but like it was like enough damage. Like he kicked him like through several floors and then let a building fall on him, and like. I could believe that Arlong would die, but then, like, nah, he's resilient, and he's just knocked out, and whatever, right? It's whatever. I get that. It's just that, like, some of the later ones, like, when he's, like, fighting Doflamingo and, like, hitting him with his hockey arms, are, like, fighting a lot of people with, like, his big, gum fucking... Kong pistol.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh, go fuck yourself. Do you see how big those things are?
Okay. I can understand Luffy, right? Like, One Piece is sort of established that like you can't punch someone to death, basically. For whatever reason, they're just like, nah, there's no such thing as like head trauma. You just are fine. And so it's like Luffy beats people by like showing them that they can't beat him, and then they get sad about it, right?
Yeah, they're just like, oh, I lost.
They're like, oh, this is stupid. You're stupid.
Well, like in a few cases after he beat them, like the Navy immediately come after, like they handcuff the bad people, like especially like what in Alabasta, like Crocodile, like he beat. It was a badass fight, the Crocodile fight too.
Yeah. One Piece
Um,
season 2, that crocodile fight had better be going for like 2 episodes.
oh God, I better see my man Inaki just covered in blood.
Hell yeah.
But it's not gonna be Alabasta can't be season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like Oda is already like, yep, this is the Chopper season. Like it's Chopper centric. It's Drum Island centric.
Yeah,
It's
that's
it's
that.
it's grand. It's gonna be Drum Island, and the rest
Mhm.
of the episodes are gonna be them going to getting a log pose and going to the Grand Line.
What if what if season 2 of One Piece is like it's maybe I'm gonna go ahead and call and say it's 45 minutes of one episode of Drum Island and the rest is Alabasta. That would be sick.
That's what
7
you
episodes of
wish.
Alabasta, like fuck yeah.
No, I hear it's gonna be 10 episodes.
Good, it should be. That's what this
It's
season should have
well,
been.
season 1 was a proof of concept,
Yeah,
right?
that's fair. And maybe hopefully they'll get more money for the next one as well. Like I don't want them to
Oh
stretch
yeah,
out the 8 episode budget to 10 episodes.
dude. I already told you how they say they could save money, right?
Hmm.
Because like once they get to Drum Island, there's no more need for fancy ship sets. They're just like in a little village. All
Mm-hmm.
they gotta do is go to like a snowy area and build like a small village set. And yeah, that'll cost money, but like not a lot. They don't have to build a castle. All they have to do is build like the bottom of a castle and a set for like the inside.
Mm.
Like they really don't have to do anything. And if any money like gets spent, it'll be like on prosthetics for the man fighting like the man eating rabbits.
God, the man-eating rabbits.
Because they're gonna CGI fucking Wapple.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. Yeah.
Not I mean he's gonna have a normal person, but also he's gonna have like CGI because he eats big things. There's gonna be a lot
Yeah.
of jaw unhinging
Yeah.
uh
God, that's
fucking
gonna be so hard. Good luck.
and that
Good luck to
and
them.
look, Chopper is probably going to be the most expensive thing that season since he's going to have a lot of screen time.
What if they just cut out a lot of Chopper? They're like, yeah, Chopper's here. He's fine. Anyway.
Yeah, look, Chopper's here. He's right over there. Just believe me, he's right over there.
God.
Here, like the thing is, like the thing about Chopper is like he has the cute thing of like hiding behind stuff, but like the wrong way. So he puts his body out and his
Mhm.
like head behind the thing.
God.
I
Yeah, it's like they have the voice actor for Chopper, and then they just have his hat behind a barrel, and he's like, "Oh, this is what I think, Luffy." And Luffy's like, "Thanks, Chopper. Yeah, keep hiding behind that barrel where it's safe." And he's like, "Okay."
oh no, jeez. Okay, so like oh, we're gonna have to have more budget because the Chopper's transformations.
Yeah. Yep.
We have to have like what is it, hoof point,
Mm-hmm.
like strong point, deer mode, regular mode. Oh
Fucking
man,
deer mode.
he has like I like a dash mode, which is just him as a deer.
Mm-hmm.
So like, oh man, I hope they don't get like a different actor to voice Chopper because it's just voicing him. I
Mm-hmm.
hope they get like the anime voice, right?
Yeah. I could see that.
Because like Chopper doesn't like have an ethnicity. He's a deer.
Yeah, I guess that's the only one that makes sense to like just take
Brooke,
the anime voice from.
Brooke too,
Yeah, yeah.
because like
Hmm.
he's just a skeleton.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I could see
Why?
because
Why would you
Chopper
get
is so
a?
small that like you can't have a person in place of him. It's got to be the same thing that they do with like Sonic, where they give them like a fucking plush to talk to. But like
That's
for
what they
for
do.
Brooke, that could fully just be a dude.
Oh no, it'll be a dude. It's just get the VA to voice him. Have like it'll be like a Sweet Tooth situation from the new Twisted Metal.
Oh
right?
yeah, the embarrassment.
Or no, people like that show.
I don't know.
People said that it's like One Piece. They showed the worst parts in the trailer. Like the show wasn't gold, but I haven't seen it. I want to see it because like after everyone's like, oh no, it's actually okay. It's basically its own world separated from the games. So everyone's like crazy in the entire world, so it makes sense why they're kind of cringe, but also like
Everyone's crazy.
there's cringe lines,
Mm-hmm.
and there's some characters are changed, but they said it's like legit not a bad show. It's at least a 6 out of 10.
I love that that's a plot thing. Like whenever you start off like you're like world building, like, oh yeah, there was a war a long time ago. And as a result, or like Attack on Titan, they're like, yeah, there's these big fuck off giants that are outside of these walls, and they just keep eating us, and we're like the last bit of humanity. Like whole bunch of cool shit that they get to set up, and then Twisted Metal starts off and is like, everyone in the world is crazy.
Yeah, I think everyone went like Mad Max crazy after like the downfall of humanity.
God.
That's basically how it is. So
I it would be pretty ballsy for Twisted Metal to be like, hey, the world is like Mad Max.
the world
anyway,
is just Mad Max.
It's Mad Max. Hey, this is what America is doing during Mad Max. It's called Twisted Metal here.
Dude, like, if you think about it, it probably would be.
Yeah.
If the downfall of humanity happened, it'd be like Twisted Metal and like a zombie apocalypse without zombies.
Mm-hmm.
You ever, like, when zombies started getting big, have you ever just like been like, oh man, I wish zombie apocalypse would happen. I'm so ready for it, right?
No.
You've never wished for like a zombie apocalypse?
No.
Me neither.
No, the internet would go out. Like, I don't want that.
There's a very funny skit online, by my man Caleb City.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've heard of him, but he's a young African American man, and he was like real big during Vine, and now he's on YouTube and he does like skits, and they're really good.
Okay.
He did a skit about zombie apocalypse, right? There's like this guy in his house, and another guy comes in. He's like, hey, I just made it. You have to come with me, right? There's the zombie apocalypse happened. The guy's like, no, I don't. He's like, what are you talking about? We have to survive. And he's like, there's zombie apocalypse going on right now. He's like, why would I want to live?
Yeah.
He's like, look, the internet just went out. And he's like, well, don't you want to just, live, like, be humanity? He's like, no. He's like, the zombie apocalypse would suck. He's like, oh yeah? Give me some reasons. He's like, toilet paper. He's like, what are you going to do when you run out? And the guy's like, he's like, well, we just have to like scavenge and use like leaves or whatever. And he's like, what about water? He's like, the water's gonna go out and there's like a finite source of it. He's like, what are you gonna do? And he's just like, oh man, you're right, the apocalypse does suck. And they both lay on the ground.
Yeah that's what God, anybody that romanticizes like, oh yeah, I do so well in a zombie apocalypse, like I'm going to be looking for this. I'm going to be doing that. Like, I'm going to get a boat. I'm going to go out into the ocean because everybody knows zombies can't swim. I'm going to live on a cruise ship. Like, whatever the fuck. Like, okay. I argued this, actually. I used to be, the first podcast that I was ever on, or I guess probably the second one, was a podcast called Master Debaters. And you can probably still find episodes out there. But one of the things that we were talking about was like, what do you do? Like, where do you go for a zombie apocalypse? And like, cruise ship is like the obvious answer. It's the obvious, easiest answer. Like, you get there, you drive the boat just a little bit away from shore, and then you fuck off. Like, you have one small boat to carry you between land and cruise ship, and then you just live on cruise ship, right? And like that, even that, where you live in a cruise ship and like you can live in the fucking cruise ship penthouse, you could live in the captain's quarters, you could live in, you could live on the stage, whatever. Like, even in the best of best case scenarios there's no internet. You've got to like every week
You have
you're
to
like, oh, I've
work.
got to go out and get more food and bring it back. I've got to fish today, and I
Not
can't just DoorDash something.
not even that. You'd have to like have people on land because you have to harvest crops.
Mm-hmm.
Because like there's only a finite amount of food in the area, so like once you've scavenged it all, like you have to start making your own and like domesticate animals. I was like I watched The Walking Dead, like all of it besides the new stuff. And yeah, I as fun as like killing zombies in like sounds,
Mm-hmm.
just surviving with nothing is worse.
Yeah, and like to be fair, there are ways around that if you're just fishing, right? Or you're out there not only shooting zombies but shooting deer, and your diet consists of next to no plants and almost all meat.
Yeah.
You know, something will happen maybe, but like, God, sincerely, if I open up a news report that says like, oh yeah, the zombie apocalypse is happening, and I was single, like if I didn't have a child to take care of, and I'm like, this man deserves better, I need to take care of him, I need to like make sure that he's okay. If none of that was true, I'm fucking just gone. Like, I don't need to stick around to see how this ends, because it ends with me dying.
Why not just like, I don't know, have you and your family just be like, yep, this is the best thing for us. And just like, I don't know, like take sleeping pills and like, I don't know, something to kill you in your sleep.
So
All
okay,
your family.
and I have thought about this. Here's why. Have you ever seen The Mist?
Yes.
Because of that. Like, what happens if like zombie apocalypse is happening? We're like a few days in, internet goes out, water starts to go off. I'm like, shit, they're like, I've seen zombies, my neighbors are out here, you know, I'm like, we're cut off from the world, like, shit, this is bad. And then the day after we like commit suicide, like ritualistic family suicide, the military shows up, and it turns out that the zombie apocalypse was just in my town, and the military just like wipes out all the zombies, and that's it. They're like, wow, we're really only like 400 people died, and 200 of those were from suicide.
Here, the type of zombie apocalypse I want is like Shaun of the Dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was like 3 days of zombies, and then the military just fixed everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, I mean, you got to live out like your zombie fantasy, but then like it got all fixed up. So
Yeah.
that's what you want. And can I just say, The Mist is so fucking. It has such a dreadful ending.
Yeah, it's so brutal and so sad, because you're like, the whole movie you're watching these people just like be picked off one by one, and everything is so deeply depressing, and you're like, God, there's just man, there's no good way out of this situation. Maybe they'll be able to make it, and then at the very end you're like, fuck, they can't make it. Oh, this sucks so bad. This is gonna be so bleak.
They all realize we're not gonna make it. We've run out of gas, and there's this gun. And he, the main character, the dude, is like, "All right, I'll be the one to do it." And like, you don't see him do it. It's like you just hear the shots, and then you hear just like his wail, like, ah! Like him just screaming. And then he's like, "All right, time for me." But he runs out of bullets, and he's just like, everyone in the car is dead. His son, the girl, like he fell in love with, and two old people.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, they're dead and I don't want to live anymore. So he's like, I'm going to go out into the mist and I'm going to let the monsters take me. As soon as he gets out, the military starts walking through with like flamethrowers and like burning all the monsters and then blowing the mist away. And he's just in the middle of the road, just wailing. And then you see a military truck go by with all the wretched people that drove him out of the grocery store. All lived, and they're getting taken to safety. Oh,
God.
man.
I mean, I can't think of a more like twisted ass bleak ending, because you think the movie is going to end as depressing as it could when everyone is like, well, we're going to just commit suicide and die in the mist, but then they somehow find a way to make it even worse.
Dude,
Damn.
yeah. The Mist is such an underrated movie. It's so good.
Yeah.
I think for a while people didn't like it, but man, that was one of my favorite movies. I mean, it still is. Like, I'll watch it anytime. It's just so good.
Yeah.
But
It's a classic. If you haven't seen The Mist, and despite the fact that we just spoiled it for you, you should go watch it. It's good.
yeah, I didn't do it justice. It's really good. But like I used to romanticize zombie apocalypse. That was like around the time that like zombie movies, Day of the Dead remake, Shaun of the Dead came out, Dead Rising game came out, right? And that really romanticized zombies. And I was subscribed to Loot Crate.
Yep.
And I got the How to Survive a Zombie Survival Guide.
Yeah.
That came with it. And then I got real into zombie movies. I was like, I could do this. I'm like, I know how to do this. And I was like, bring it on, Apocalypse. But like, as I got older, I was like, oh man, no. Like, I just don't want to.
Yeah. And not like, because to be fair, there are some cool things about a zombie apocalypse. Like the idea about like, you know, if you're like one of the only people that's around, the idea of I'm going to drive a pickup truck through a fucking mall. That's cool, right? Like I'm going to go into a Walmart at like blasting music and just taking whatever I want. That's kind of fun, right?
Yeah.
But the reality of the situation, like at the end of the day, when you're trying to go to sleep and you keep hearing noises and you're like, oh fuck, are all the doors locked? Am I going to be okay? Like it sucks ass. And I just don't think that the movies and video games of that era, I don't think they did it enough justice, like how miserable it would be. Because all of them seem to be like from the beginning of this like zombie apocalypse, not like we're 2 years in and like the only people that are left are like assholes.
Yeah. Not to mention everyone would smell horrible.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. God, yeah, you're right. Like, I'm sure some people are taking like soap and going into rivers or whatever, but like, shit, dude. Like,
yeah, but you gotta watch when you go into rivers because like zombies can't swim, but they'll like be at the bottom of a river, just kind of waiting, and then they'll like, because I've seen it in a few like shows or movies that they're just in the water, like at the bottom of a lake.
Man, okay, I don't fucking buy that, because that to me that conveys zombies have a motive. They're like, hey, I'm gonna lay at the bottom of this lake.
Well, a few times that I've seen him was like some like they tried to like drown themselves, but then they died and became zombies anyway. But then they just got stuck underwater.
And that's just where they live. They're just under there, like,
oh, this sucks. Yeah, and until someone came along and like, I don't know, like rattled their zombie fucking sense. So
and then they suddenly figured out how to swim.
They don't swim. They just kind of like reach for your feet while like you're swimming, because like lakes and rivers aren't that deep. So like if you're walking and there's just like a zombie that's like buried under like water and they feel you, they just have to grab you. And then like if you like get away, all they have to do is like walk towards where like you were going and just come out of the water just looking gross. Just their skin's just like what's it called, absorbed all the water, and their skin's like falling off, and you're trying to fight it, and as you're fighting it, like their skin's like just slimy. Yeah, just and that's like another thing. So like not only will you smell bad, but like there's a bunch of just decaying corpses all walking around in groups.
Yeah. And yeah, like zombies probably smell horrific, and if there's so many of them, like your whole day is just spent like
yeah. And like if you're gonna be killing them, like you're gonna be getting that gross blood all over you.
Yeah, okay, that's the other thing I was thinking about is like, because you know, we've seen so many movies and played so many video games, and you're like, you know, shooting a zombie would be kind of fun. Like, number one, if it's like day 3 of the zombie apocalypse, I don't think it's like you die and then you immediately start like being decayed and gross looking. Like, if you only died a couple of days ago, the zombies that you're killing just look like dudes. You just are shooting humans at that point, and you're like, I'm pretty sure that's a zombie.
Well, like at that point, like once the zombie apocalypse happens, all bets are off, right? Like like you have to be on your guard. Like you can't trust anyone unless like you're in already like a made up group, right? Like of people that you know.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just trust in. That's the worst part about the apocalypse. You just can't trust anyone.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to think that like if I had friends and family and we were like doing the zombie apocalypse thing together, that I could trust them to like not be shitheads.
No, that's fair. But like also at some point when like your like tensions are high, you'll be surviving with like people for a while, and like, man, like what if someone just goes crazy? They're like, I've had enough, and like they become a danger to the group.
Yeah. And I mean, even like over time when you're like, I can't take it anymore. This shit sucks. And then you have to be like, hey, yeah, but ruin your own life and not mine, please. Like, just go run into the woods and let me never see you again.
Yeah. Like, it's just one of those things. Like, there's a lot of things to consider during a zombie apocalypse that not many people like really consider.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not only like you can wander around if you want, but you have to be aware that like maybe there's just groups of scavengers that are just holed up in this town and like waiting for people to walk through so they can rob and kill.
Yeah.
Or like there's groups of zombies just holed up in one building, and you're like, wonder if it's safe in there, and then like you open it and just a horde comes out.
Yeah, for whatever reason they're just standing still in there, and then you open the door and they're like, "Oh, for freedom!"
Yeah, no shit. Like, I for one, I know if like a zombie apocalypse happened, I think with the military that we have now, with as many people with guns as they do, and zombies being in like the zeitgeist, I feel like the world could survive a zombie apocalypse.
Mm-hmm. It
Granted,
depends
there'll
on
be a
like,
lot of there'd be a lot of stupid people, but
yeah, and it also depends on like what we're defining as zombie apocalypse. Like how deep is it? How many people are supposed to be there? All that stuff is like,
it depends on how it happens. Was it a natural thing? Was it a military made thing?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of zombies are there? Are these the fucking super running sprint zombies?
Yeah, and how is it spreading so fast? Is it just because the zombies are fast and they're biting people really quickly, or because like the thing is, like all zombie apocalypses seem to start, and then within a few days it's like the town is overrun by zombies, and it's like, does nobody lock their fucking doors? Like, if you're you're like, oh shit, there's some growth, like somebody's moaning and knocking at my door. Let me open it for them.
Well, like, here's the thing. Like, you remember Dawn of the Dead, the remake, right?
Mm-hmm.
The main character, the girl, the woman, her and her husband are like waking up in the morning, and the neighbor girl just walks into the house. She didn't lock her door. And the neighbor girl just walked into her house and attacked and killed the husband right away. Yeah.
The thing is, so I remember I was in New Zealand, and I was talking to this couple that were sitting next to me. And,
couple of zombies.
Yeah, a couple of zombies. They're from England. They were like, oh yeah, we moved down here a while ago, and it's great. The people down here are so nice. Everybody is so friendly. Nobody really locks their doors. And I went, what?
Oh.
And they were like, yeah, it's just so safe that you don't really need to lock your doors. And, it's just more convenient. I came back to New Zealand 10 years later, and like I was on a tour with someone talking to the tour guide, and the tour guide was like, "Oh yeah, I just like I leave my car keys in the car with the door unlocked just because I don't want to have the hassle of like walking inside the house and taking them with me." And I was like, "You what? What do
Yeah,
you
what?
do?"
Like, man, I'd never I'd freak out if
Yeah.
like I was in my house and then like I'm getting comfortable and getting ready for bed and then I'm like, oh fuck, I left my keys in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Like I like race to my car and be like, oh good, it's still there.
Yeah, and
And
like
not that not
every night before I go to bed, I know that I like lock the doors after I use them. Still though, every night before I go to bed, just like check that front door real quick, check that back
yeah,
door real quick. All right, we're good. We're good.
yeah. I I'm I'm okay with I'm not okay with like leaving my car unlocked because like the one time I did here in town my car and our town isn't like known for like people stealing cars or anything,
Yeah.
but like the one time a few years back I left my key like 2 years, maybe 2 years, the one time I left my car unlocked, someone broke into my car and threw all my stuff in the yard because I didn't have anything. They just took the stuff out of my car where I guess they were looking through and just left it in the yard because I didn't have anything but like a work bag full of like gloves and work stuff.
They're like, I don't
So
want these fucking gloves. Fuck
yeah,
you.
I was more pissed off that like they had the audacity to just leave my things in the yard.
Yeah.
That I was mad that someone actually went into my car and like wanted to steal from me. I was
Mm-hmm.
very mad.
Yeah. I mean,
It's
especially
just
because like this is happening at your house in the small town that we both grew up in. You're like it almost adds insult to injury because you're like, there's a pretty good chance I know who the fuck you are.
yeah, I probably I there's like 5 people that I possibly knew who did it. But I
Mm-hmm.
wasn't gonna go search for them and be like, you fucking broke into my car?
Yeah.
Like I'm like, man, this I'm like, this just sucks.
Yeah.
I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed.
Yeah. And you're like, and you know what? It's kind of on me for not like putting up my keys and stuff. But that's what I mean is like, if that happens, if zombies like start an outbreak here in America, I don't think it would spread nearly that fast because everybody locks their doors. Like, and that's
Yeah.
it. It's not like you gain super strength from being a zombie.
It's just it just depends. Like big cities might go before rural towns because like in rural towns people like lock their doors and they usually have guns and there's not enough people. Like there's not a lot of people. Like it's just in city like if it happened in daytime there are people in the streets, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like they're like running in groups and you don't know who's like infected and like you're hiding with people and you're like, "Oh no, that guy got bit," right?
Yeah.
So like it's just one of those things like where you're gonna like who knows who's a zombie in a big city, and then you're trying to get back to your apartment to like hide
Yeah.
while trying to like avoid everyone from every which way.
Well, I mean, I would argue that probably a small town is much more likely to leave their doors unlocked. But I think you're right that like the point about there are probably a lot more people outside and more people like in an area in which like if somebody was sprinting at them and just bit them, that like they could do a lot of damage. It's the same argument as like knife attacks, right? Like if some
Yeah,
crazy person in our small town had a knife, they would probably be able to stab 4 or 5 people before someone stopped them. But if you're in a
well,
big city and like you're in like a crossing or whatever, you could probably stab 30 or 40 people and maybe even get away with it.
yeah. It's just that's the thing. Like be happy that like even in like say a suburb like where you live, you'd have a better chance than being inner city,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because at least you'd have a chance of hearing it. Maybe you like look outside and you're like, oh shit, like maybe you see people like freaking out, a zombie or two, but like you just stay in your house,
Yeah.
right? But it's also what raises the stakes for you is you have a baby
Mm-hmm.
and like zombies are attracted to noise.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd have, and your house is pretty echoey. So like, you're like at night, you're like, okay, we gotta be quiet. But then like your kid's like fussy,
Yeah.
and like he's like yelling, and you're like, oh fuck. So like, you could hide in your house, and there's a good chance that like nothing will hear you. It's just you have to take that chance.
Yeah,
But
and I mean, the thing is, like, you know, my kid's a toddler, so like he'll want to go outside and do stuff, and like, how am I like, no, it's not safe out there. There's a bunch of dead people walking around.
like, well, you have a fenced up backyard, so
Yeah.
like you can be like, we could stand on the porch for a little bit, but like you can't take any of your toys, or we're gonna take the batteries out.
Yeah.
Right? So like, and you could just be on the lookout, but you can't let them out of your sight.
Mm-hmm.
It's just one of those things. Like, for me, I think I could survive in my town for a little bit. Like, I'm not gonna be one of those people where like I'm just giving up right now, you know. I would try to survive at least for a little bit, but then like once things start getting like real bleak,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I've had enough, right?
Yeah. I think that's gonna be that would be a very similar story to me. If I was in if I was in the zombie apocalypse, I would stick around until I knew that things were not going to get better. Again, I don't want to get misted. You know, that's the ultimate.
Yeah.
I don't want to get misted. But whenever I'm confident that the misting is just not going to happen, it's like, I don't need to be here anymore.
I'd wait a few months, see if I could survive that long.
Yeah.
Then again, like, I'm not running head first into zombies. I'd be like Zom 101 and be like, I don't gotta go to work.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
It also depends like on how long the power stays, because like it gets hot over here.
Mm-hmm.
That means I'd have to like open windows.
Yeah. Oh God. I mean, at that point, it really is just like, I should have migrated north. I should have. Oh, God damn. What am I going to do? But then, like, I don't know. At that point, you have to move to a place that has like the perfect climate, so everybody's going to live in California.
But that's the worst place. That's where Dead Island 2 took place.
Yeah, but I don't know if you know this, but Dead Island 2 is not real, so it's probably fine.
Yeah, but it has California like local, like it has California hotspots in there, and I don't know. I believe people in California wouldn't survive.
I think, I don't know. Like, I get the sort of like, oh yeah, like the artsy fartsy people probably would not do very well, or people that feel like entitled, that the sort of like stereotypical like Valley Girl kind of people that you think about whenever you're thinking of California people. But like the reality of the situation is that in California, there's so many people that live like in the mountains and like across the state is gigantic. The people that you think of are only concentrated in a few cities, but there's people that like ride horseback and like have a farm and a ranch, and they love Donald Trump and they like jerk off to guns every day. Like, those people are there too.
Dude, Texas is the perfect place. Everyone has a gun.
Yeah, except that Texas also is on fire 6 months out of the year. Like, it is untenable to live here without air conditioning.
No, like, that's fair. But, like, if I would stake anything on people surviving, it would be Texas. Because they already have their own agriculture. Everyone has guns. Like, the worst we'd have is infighting. They'd probably secede from the United States and build, like, a big barrier around Texas. It's just, I believe Texas could survive over any other state.
I think California would probably actually do better. California has better farmland. It actually produces food. I don't know that Texas produces some food. I think California produces more, though. And the climate is much more habitable, which is like my largest thing about Texas is like the longer, like if you're here during the winter, it's probably fine. You're probably going to do okay. There's not a lot of hunkering down you got to do. You don't have to worry about like getting frozen to death or any of that stuff. But as soon as summer shows up, it's like, you're fucked, bud. Like you've gotta stay inside. You can't be moving during the daytime. At nighttime is when you've got to like really do most of your stuff to avoid drinking too much water and like being out there too long or whatever. Like it's whereas during with California, it's like, oh, the hottest it gets here is like 85 and the coldest it gets here is like 50. You're like, cool, nice.
Yeah, I like climate-wise, California. Survivability, Texas.
Couldn't disagree more because country California has the same people that Texas does, but it has better climate. So I think there's no drawbacks to California.
Yeah, but like people in Texas are already acclimated to the extreme weather. We don't like it, but we're already acclimated
You
to it.
say that, and I like here in Texas, it is insane. If you were gonna go like rent an apartment or you're gonna go like buy a house, and they're like, oh yeah, this place doesn't have air conditioning, you go, the fuck did you just say to me?
Well,
But on
yeah,
the West
because
Coast,
like
it's still totally reasonable to be like, oh yeah, we just don't have any air conditioning. Just open a window. It's fine.
yeah, but like a lot of like apartments aren't insulated well, so like it just becomes a hot box.
Mm-hmm. And so that leads to the situation where it's like, oh, the power went out. Great. Now hundreds of people every day get heat stroke and fucking die in Texas.
That's why you just you put boards over the windows and keep them open.
What?
Like my house has storm shutters. So I just got to put the storm shutters on. It'll be hard for like zombies to get through there, and just open the window, let some air come in. Yeah, I'll be a little uncomfortable, but like I'd be walking around in shorts and like no shirt.
Yeah,
And like
I think you're underestimating the amount of work you're going to have to do, though. Like, if you're during the day having to the work that you have to do in order to continue to stay alive, finding food, finding water, getting shelter, blah blah blah. Like, you now have to do that at a time at which it's not too hot to do so. Like, you can stay home, but that just means that like at nighttime you're going to have to go out there, which makes it a lot more dangerous.
Oh yeah, but like you're like assuming that like I'd be alone. I'd probably be in a community, and if they were gonna put like if they were like you got to have a job if you're gonna be in here, I probably wouldn't be in manual labor, right? I'd probably be in like what's it called, like what's it called, the people that go out, like not hunters but like go out and look for things, or maybe a guard at like the gate. And I of course, yeah, I'm a lazy ass security guard right now, but like during a zombie apocalypse, you don't have the what's it called? What am I talking about?
The luxury.
The luxury of being lazy.
So like, here's the thing, Fee. I don't believe you. I think if they're like, yeah, listen, you were a lazy security guard in real life, but now the zombie apocalypse is happening, like you've really got to step it up. I have a feeling that you'll be like, man, it's too fucking hot. I'm not gonna do my rounds. Like, it's 100 degrees outside. I'm not gonna leave this place. Are you stupid?
I'd be in the scouting party, just walking around. Like eventually, I'd start losing weight, and I would just like be eating off like a little bit, and then we're growing our crops and stuff. I don't know. I'm not saying I want this to happen. I'm just saying I can see this being okay for a while until I've already got upset and I don't want to do it anymore.
The first time you get upset, you're like, I'm out, fuck it.
That's it, kill me.
That's just like you're like, oh, I'm so glad that like we were able to like find this, I don't know, bean factory. So now we've got like a bunch of beans to make. That's great. Yeah, I'm gonna like I hauled back at like a couple of bags of beans. I'll be back. And then whenever you come back, you're like, hey, did you cook the beans? They're like, yeah, we already ran out though. Sorry. You're like, you what? Kill me. Get me out of here. I don't need to be here anymore.
Okay, so like there was another zombie show on Sci-Fi Channel, and I forget what it's called. It was like Zombie Nation or something.
Sure.
I don't remember. But I like that show. It's really good. It got a little goofy at the end, but it was just people living like a Mad Max life
Mhm.
while zombies happened, and there was like, of course, over the top things like a zombie hurricane. There was like a hurricane
God.
going through town with like zombies just in the air, like because zombies don't know what like a hurricane is.
Mhm.
So like they're just getting flown around. It's almost like a Sharknado. It was a
Yeah.
Zomnado. So like that, and then like the first episode showed a zombie baby.
Cool.
The thing with that show is like they're all living their lives, they're doing their things, they live in communities, or they're like wandering around. But like there's a thing where people were like, you know what? I think I'm ready to die. So like they would give a gun to like one of their friends, and they would be like, yeah, you know, send me off, and then the person would like say a prayer and then like shoot them.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's what I would do. I'd be like, you know what? I think I'm done being alive. You know, just go put me out of my misery.
Yeah. You know what? I kind of did everything I wanted to do. Just I don't know. I guess this guy gets my Funkos. How about that?
It depends on like if we got to keep our house during the apocalypse, yeah. But I couldn't like imagine if we didn't have a community building our own like sustainable food crops.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'd have to wander around, and at that point, I just don't know what I'd want to do.
Yeah,
it's
I
very
know.
circumstantial. The apocalypse I want.
That's fair. That's fair.
So
we are over time, Fee.
Yeah, we're over time.
Fun fact: we TikTok now does podcasts, but TikTok is like, there's no such thing as a podcast that is over an hour and 20 minutes. So we said let's aim for an hour and 20 minutes, and here we are, an hour and 46 minutes in.
I'm like, well, like, man, that's the problem when you have two people who like to go on rants and are very like ADHD, so we get like on long-winded rants, and we got into a very like a topic that I guess, you know what, I want to say it's theme appropriate. Halloween's coming up.
Yeah, it's spooky season. So, this episode comes out not in October, but like the week before October. Pretty good.
Yeah, I think that's a good open for like spooky season. We got to think of some fun spooky season things to talk about.
Yeah.
Maybe do some like urban legends or like fucking spook stories.
Yeah.
Like, spooky stories. I don't know. We got to see. Maybe talk about like horrible people. I know one episode we're probably going to talk about Five Nights at Freddy's because I'm going to go see it.
Hell yeah. You're going to tell me all about it.
I will tell you all about
Frederick Fazbear's Pizza Entertainment.
Good old Matthew Lillard.
Mm-hmm. He's gonna be there. He's gonna be talking to you. He's gonna be like, "Oh, remember that time that I played all those characters you like?" He'd be like, "Yeah, I do, Matthew. Thank you."
Well, now I'm not.
Now I'm in this movie.
But before I tell you about that, Colby, you tell them what they can do.
Yeah. Hey, you can listen to this podcast live. We're recording this live on twitch.tv/GoGetUsPod. You can listen to this episode before it comes out live. If you really like having some visuals associated with this, or you just like listening to stuff on YouTube, this podcast comes out on the same day that the audio version of the podcast does on YouTube. The stream replay does on our YouTube channel. youtube.com/@GoGetUsPodcast. You can go check us out there. We've also got YouTube shorts and TikTok videos, all of which are extremely good, and they're only getting better, baby.
Yeah, baby.
And if you're someone who's like, actually, I like my podcast to be just podcast, you could pretend like we don't do any of those other things, and you could just listen on your favorite podcatcher, because I guarantee you that we're there, unless it's TikTok, in which case, give it some time. We've got to learn some discipline.
Right. Well, like even then, the podcast is in beta on TikTok, so I'm sure they'll pad it out to let longer ones go in.
Yeah, we'll see. And failing all of that, this podcast does come out again, Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, all that, every Wednesday at like 5 a.m. That way you can listen to it on your way to work.
Yeah. That's what I do.
Well, Fee, why don't you tell
Oh,
them what they can do? How about you?
is it my turn already? Here's what I want you to do.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to get like your family and like your closest friends.
Okay.
The apocalypse just happened. Picture this.
Oh, sad.
So like you and your family and your friends, you're hunkering down. You're in the apocalypse. You're in the deep thick of it.
Are we
I
playing
want
Settlers
you-
of Catan?
No,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
You're like in Left 4 Dead.
Oh, okay. Got it.
So you and your family and your best friends are all in the zombie apocalypse. I want you to hunker down, and then when all seems like lost, you and your best friend pick up arms, and you run straight for the zombies. You go get them.
Go get him. And you know what? While you're going to go get him, just think like if this is going to be your last stand, you've got to really yell something cool at them like as you're going in, so that like if you're leaving behind people, if there's going to be people that can tell the story of your life, they could say, "Oh yeah, he got this look in his eye, and then he turned to me and he said, whamma-lamma ding dong," and he fucking charged in and really ripped him a new asshole.
I don't know what that meant, but man, was it cool.
God, I got I got tingles and goosebumps and a boner all at the same time.
As he did the slow motion 300 fucking to the zombies.
Yeah, it was so poetic, and oh man, he died so fast and so brutally.
He may have got one, but he just may have just knocked it over.
Yeah, I think he tripped on the way there. It was really a bummer, but man, I will never forget Whamma-Lamma Ding Dong.
Goodbye.
Bye.